Bit of a chat now about some rugby league matters, and we've got a man who must be fairly happy at the moment, Lenny Stacker. We've had you on once before earlier this year, Len.
Yeah, it was timely actually, Rex.
Timely, you think?
We won both games, so.
Good on you, mate.
It's always good.
Nobody's going to argue that you deserve to win, but Noel Kelly Ferris Ashton was one of the people down there. We'll let Ferris tell us a few words about that Manly and Penrith game, and then you can offer your comments.
Well, for Penrith it was a very, very good game, and I thought that they played particularly well. It was their first win against Manly at Brookvale Oval since Penrith came into the competition in 1967. And they did it tough. The penalties went against them pretty heavily, about 16 to 11, I think it was, 16-12. They won the scrums 12-all, but for Manly, it was a very bitter pill to swallow because they had the good side in. They had something like 5 internationals languishing in second grade, and yet Penrith really put it to them on their home ground in front of about a crowd of 10,000 people. Broman, who you saw there, Broman had a top game. Roy Simmons, playing in an unfamiliar lock forward position, had a top game, and it was pretty hard to fault any of the Penrith players at all. I was very impressed with the winger who scored the first try. What's his name again?
Rodney Wright.
Yeah, he knows where the line is. He knows the shortest direct route to get there. Yes. Johnny Gibbs had a good game for Manly. Dorothy, as you see, making a break here. He seems to have lost his confidence and a lot of his speed. But Manly, that could probably put him out of business there. That was a loss that they didn't expect, and I'm sure Len, with their record against Manly at Brookvale, was hoping, but not confident of a win, but it was a decisive and clear-cut win for Penrith, and if they keep on in this vein, that's putting them together like this, they could have problems.
Well, Ferris, how can you say that puts anyone in or out? I'm not suggesting just because you mentioned Manly. You can't be sure that Eastern Suburbs aren't going to get their tail whacked this afternoon. We had 5 upset results in last weekend's round.
That's
what
right.
were classified by the so-called experts as 5 upset results.
Well, I think there's...
it must be a coach's nightmare.
I think the fact, Len's thoughts on this is that playing those midweek games at this stage of the year after a long, hard season is starting to take its effect on teams, because I think both your wins, Len, have been against teams in the last 2 weeks that played on the midweek.
Yeah, that's correct, Ferris. I really do think it takes blood out of the players. I think if they're a bit tired and a bit sore, and if you can hit them as hard as you can and show up those sore spots, that psychologically, they're a bit down.
Yeah, well then, after your midweek game, it was against Norths where you lost very heavily, didn't you? So it took its effect on you on that particular week.
Yeah, you got beaten by Cronulla in a hard game, 23-19, I think.
That's right.
And then you went down 31-10 in the Sunday after your midweek game.
Yeah, that's particularly if you play a hard tackling side. Norths are a big side, and they're a good side too, and they hit us hard and took the sting right out of us.
Yeah. Well, I think the key to your whole success is Broman. Broman fit well and manoeuvring in those rucks, setting up play is a different side, and it was very interesting the way that the Penrith pack pulled together last week.
Would you ever think that you mightn't win a game away from home and the way it was being played this year?
Well, I suppose you've got to start thinking that way, Cole, although, you've always got to be... I'm that way as a coach that when the time the game comes around, I really believe my team's going to win. Doesn't matter what the odds are. I really think myself, going into the game, that we'll beat the side we're playing against.
But was there any ideas in the players' mind you had to get that they couldn't win away from home? You thought there was?
I'm sure there's lots of, deep down, there's lots of thoughts that, they're probably starting to doubt themselves whether they could win away.
Kyle, you could see it in the Penrith side, the way they were playing last week, that about 10 minutes into the second half, they realised they had it.
The balancing of John Dorothy, it's funny positions a bloke gets themselves into in a game, isn't it?
Penrith blokes said thanks very much.
Yeah, just taking a few little things out of the game. This one, what some of the crowd didn't realise was there was a ricochet off, I think, Alan Thompson in this pass. There it was.
Yes.
The ball went forward, so the referee was quite correct in his ruling.
I thought the winger did very nice. He just waited for the ball to bounce and just put it down as easy as it could be.
Yes, well, to all the Manly fans, I'm told, that got very irate at that, that's the reason there was a ricochet off a Manly player. There was this bomb that went up, which was pinpoint directly underneath the goalpost. They're the ones that get everybody in a hassle because of the situation of you don't know whether you're going to run into goalposts, and there was the softest tries you could ever see scored, and they all count the same number of points, don't they?
Yeah, you're not wrong, that's right.
Particularly when they're underneath the post.
I thought, and Ferris, your view of this one, should Johnny Gibbs have got a penalty or a penalty try out of this bit?
I didn't think so, Rex.
Well, he had his leg held, and then he had his arm, he was actually tackled. See it again. Now watch as the player, I think it's Levy, stumbles, picking up the ball. Gibbsy comes through, picks up the ball, has his leg held, or kicks the ball rather, has his leg held there, falls, is now tackled without the ball, one can suggest.
He's doing it tough, isn't he?
I think he's had a fairly hard road to hoe. A good bit of gamesmanship, but I suggest that there was a fair opportunity for a referee to rule that a try might otherwise have been
I
scored.
think it was too far away from
It's over now anyway, but
Well, there was another man. Well, no, eventually there was another Penrith player that picked the ball up again too, Rex. So there was a bit of doubt whether one would have been scored.
all right, well, the question I've got to ask Lenny Stacker, and knowing him as well as I do, he'll give me a direct answer. It'll probably be I don't know. Has Neville Glover signed with Penrith?
I don't know.
Is Lenny Stacker after Neville Glover?
Well, you know, really, Charlie Gibson, he does all the, you know, the buying of players up there. I don't sort of go into that part of it.
If Neville Glover was on the market, would Lenny Stacker be interested in having him with his team?
I think Neville Glover's a very good player, and I'd be, whether I'm at Penrith or whoever's at Penrith, I think will be, could do with the player.
That was a Freudian slip. What do you mean? If whoever's, have you got the word? Is the
No. I just. I
And
think,
also by Terry Fave, you got the chance to, wouldn't it?
All right, well, let's go to our tackle of the week. Problems, it doesn't matter what the problem, big or small. A call to 569 4755 will get you and your business on the right track as far as packaging is concerned. Corrugated Paper are right behind Rugby League with their Tackle of the Week competition, and each week the winner gets $100 from Corrugated Paper. At year's end, we'll judge the finalists and arrive at the Corrugated Paper Tackle of the Year. He's going to receive $1,000 and a fortnight's free accommodation at the luxurious Golden Gate Apartments in Surfers Paradise. And our Tackle of the Week just happens to come from that game that we've already spoken about. You can see it's a David and Goliath contest. Second half, Penrith leading 11-7. Would have been 11-10 had Gibbs scored, and you've seen the very effective tackle that Broman pulled off. You don't see him running around as much as that in earlier days this year?
no, it's a bit of a hard line for Darryl. He's had to do an extra night's training for the last month, and it's showing dividends. But,
Has to. Charlie's put his foot down or Len's put his foot down?
well, I suppose both of us there. It probably takes.
Darryl, he's a lot better front rower than a second rower, I reckon. I reckon that at front row he's much more of a proposition to the club.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, especially with his fitness level. You know, a lot better now, and he's cover defending and he's running the ball more. And
Sure.
he's
Just
able to do
before you
more
go on,
things.